Hi, I'm Jenny Kassan. For as long as I can remember, I've been passionate about wanting to help close the gap between rich and poor in our country. After law school, I went to work at a nonprofit doing community economic development. One of my projects was to work with the small businesses in the community. It quickly dawned on me what an incredible force for prosperity small businesses can be. When they have the resources they need, they create jobs, spark innovation, and keep dollars recirculating in the local economy. But too often, they don't have access to capital, either at all or on terms that make sense for them. When I realized that helping small businesses get access to capital could be the key to addressing the wealth gap, I decided to become a securities and finance lawyer. I also helped change the law. I wrote the petition that led to the Jobs Act, and I was at the White House when it was signed into law in 2012. For the last 20 years, I've helped hundreds of businesses, from retailers to manufacturers to tech startups, raise investment funding on their own terms from their communities. I call this approach community capital to distinguish it from the usual suspect funding sources like banks, angel groups, and VCs. I even wrote a book on the topic. And yet, the wealth gap keeps growing. Most entrepreneurs and changemakers still lack the capital they need to bring their visions to life. I kept asking myself, what is still missing? Why aren't more people moving their money from Wall Street to Main Street? Finally, I remembered an old adage, change moves at the speed of trust. And for humans, trust is built via face-to-face, in-person relationships that develop over time. I came to believe that a place-based ecosystem where building relationships of trust was the top priority could be the key to 1000x the community capital movement. That's why I founded Baltimore Community Commons. BCC is a place-based ecosystem that brings together the components needed to grow community investing. This includes support for small businesses to navigate the daunting process of doing a community securities offering, and education and training to help community residents learn how to become savvy local investors. And of course, fun gatherings that bring those two groups together. Last year, a new component was added to what we're building. This happened when Andrew Yang and Stephen Dubner announced that they wanted to support the growth of time banking, a system that uses time as a currency to facilitate mutual aid. It's the perfect complement to community investing because it builds connection and trust. Andrew and Stephen came on board to add their time banking initiative to the community investment work that was already underway. Our headquarters is the Mulberry, a historic building we purchased with investors. We've already raised over $2.5 million for the purchase and renovation. Investors in the project will be paid from the profits generated by the building's operations. On the first floor is the home of Baltimore Community Commons, plus food and beverage, retail, office, and meeting space. On the upper floors are 5 beautifully furnished residences targeted at the corporate housing and short-term rental markets. We've assembled an incredible development team, including an award-winning general contractor and a world-class interior designer. We were recently approved for a federal historic tax credit, which means that 20% of our development costs are covered by the federal government. And we have a committed tax credit investor. April and Tyron Harper, Baltimore-based social entrepreneurs, will lead hospitality at the building. And we're thrilled to have Chip Conley, founder of Joie de Vivre Hotels and former Airbnb executive, as our hospitality advisor. Baltimore Community Commons is more than a building. It's a model for how communities everywhere can build relationships of trust, grow prosperity, and close the wealth gap. Please join us.